People change. It's really cool to see this in wrestling because you can actually go back with a performer and say, hey, ho, they've massively evolved, which is what we're going to do today. For I am Simon for What Culture. 10 years ago, I did have hair, which is actually quite depressing. And yeah, here's AEW wrestlers who were totally unrecognizable since their debut. Kris Statlander. Do you remember that amazing return Kris Statlander had at Double or Nothing 2023? That all came down to the work that she'd put in beforehand. It is kind of amusing now, because on day one in AEW, Kris was here. She was like, oh man, I'm an alien. This was one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me, because goofy wrestling for life. Now, I never really understood if we were meant to think she was an alien, or she just thought she was an alien, but she did walk around and go boop, and just tap people on the nose. And now I'm talking about it, I totally miss it. The point is though, whether you like this kind of thing or not, so many people did get behind her, so when she did get injured and came back as more or less of a human, she was just getting mad cheers, because everybody appreciated the effort that she'd put in since day one. But yeah, if you do go from extraterrestrial to normal human being, I consider that somewhat an evolution. Max Caster. Now, I don't know this one for sure, but it certainly feels to me that after Tony Khan had gone to Max Caster and Anthony Bowens and said, I'm going to make you acclaimed, Max finally decided, well, I think I should be more of myself right now. And he took the reins and he became a star. Now, he wasn't a million miles away from this when he did debut in AEW alongside Luther and Serpentico, but all of that was going down on Dark, and he lost a lot. He was kind of a bit like a nameless, faceless guy in the shuffle. He was also doing six-man tags against the likes of Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt, and Jungle Boy. And yeah, he just needed a spark and a microphone in order to present himself more as Max Caster. And now look at him, selling merchandise. People look forward to his entrance. He is only going to get better as well. I keep an eye on him and Bowens. They're going to fly right to the top. I mean, really, they're already there. Jamie Hayter. Now, there are two versions of Jamie Hayter in AEW, and it's kind of sad we forgot about the first one. She was still a badass heel. Man, she was really wacky. The damn pandemic then stopped her going to America for obvious reasons, but when it did calm down and she was able to return, my word, she was like an absolute badass. Teaming her with the now heel Britt Baker was an inspired choice too, because she was basically allowed to be the dentist warrior of doom. And when she got in there with people, again, absolute killer. Now, it is a shame that we never pulled the trigger properly on that feud, because I think it would have done numbers. But what did happen is fans got so into this act, they became baby faces, especially Jamie, to the point she became the AEW Women's Champion. And the only reason she lost the belt too is because of injury. And when she is able to come back, none of this will have gone away. So there's another person who has just ridden this vehicle right into Success Town. It's totally cool to see. Big Bill. This is the coolest story ever. Because MJF was the guy that introduced the former Big Cass to AEW, because he wanted Wardlow to take on a guy that was bigger than Mr. Lowe. Look, if your name is Big Bill, you're probably going to be pretty big. Now, actually, he was William Morrissey at this point, and he had just come from Impact, but if you were watching that promotion, you would have gone, well, I've heard about the personal stuff that he has gone through, but he's clearly got past all of that, and there's something to this guy. When eventually he was reborn as Big Bill in AEW 2, oh my gosh, he is both a throwback and a guy that has embraced modern wrestling. This is easily the best he's ever been since arriving on the wrestling scene, and I also talk him when he was in the Enzo and Cass tag team. He is so much better now, and he feels like his own man. I am pumped to see where he gets to. Julia Hart. We have already mentioned the Kris Statlander boop here, and yeah, when Julia Hart debuted in 2021 on Dark, she lost, because she got a boop in the nose courtesy of Kris Statlander. Tiny. Hart was also the cheerleader for the Varsity Blondes, and at first you looked at it and you were like, yeah, I think this is actually quite good casting. When they got into a feud with House of Black, and all of a sudden Julia Hart's heart started to become corrupt, and she went all dark, all of a sudden you're like, man, we were completely wrong, this is much better. And Julia was soon coming out dressed all in black and wearing some witch's hat, and even though she's only like 19 years old, she just embraced this character. Stood out like a, well, not a sore thumb, like a good thumb. It also proved that once again looks can be deceiving, because yeah, it did feel like her former gimmick would be much more suited, but that wasn't the case at all. And now she's taken all of this, and she's totally changed her in-ring style. I mean, she has so many years to go. This is untapped potential, and it all came when she made a massive shift. Daniel Garcia. And speaking of wrestling being in people's bones, sounds terrible. Let's talk about Daniel Garcia. The ultimate hybrid of sports entertainer and wrestler. Watching how far he's come over the last few years has been a total joy, He just keeps getting better. It was during September 2020 on Dark where he arrived and got absolutely killed by Butcher and the Blade. But straight away people knew we've got something here, because who was singing his praises and who was trying to recruit him? It was Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho, two of the best wrestlers ever. He was also very much a grappler's grappler at that point, but that's why we put him in the Jericho Appreciation Society, and we let him show his personality while he also got better as a wrestler. To the point now, he can have a match with Shibata in Ring of Honor, and not only can he whip your ass, but he'll also do that dumb dance, and both get ovations. Can you see why this man got hired? It ain't hard. He is definitely shifting away from the groups at the moment, and he will shine as a single star. And honestly, just go and watch the differences from when he did arrive till now. It's like night and day. Nick Comoroto. So even though this guy yelled at me on Twitter once and called me bald, which was quite sad, I like Nick Comoroto a lot. And he was on quite the run in 2021, even though he did lose to Team Taz and Will Hobbs and John Moxley and a lot of other guys. But there was just something to him, and he was really, really big. Sometimes that does count for a lot in wrestling. After all this though, I think he decided, man, I could be a little bit more wrestling here. So he spruced himself up, especially down on Ring of Honor. For a while, he was wearing a nice sparkly hat. Even now though, he calls himself Nicky Boy, and he's just a little bit more over the top. But this has worked so well, because again, when he steps into that ropes, nobody is going, well, I think you're a silly Billy. No, they're like, okay, you're a little bit of an exaggerant fellow, but also you can probably kill someone, and then he does. So you can see this is another guy that is learning, but I tell you, when it does all click and he's able to take the sports entertainment and the wrestling and put it in a big pot, well, the ceiling will be smashed through. I don't know what that means. Athena. We have not got to Athena's final form yet, and when we do, we should all be terrified. She's going to be an absolute monster. Now, it certainly felt like when she did arrive in AEW, she was kind of struggling to find herself, which actually could come from her WWE experience, because if you go and listen to her exit interviews, well, she wasn't treated very nicely. Feud with Jade Cargill also was a little bit hit and miss, just because I felt like Athena was miscast. She was trying to be the baby face. Little did we know, deep down in a tum-tum, there was something else growling to go. This is one reason why Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor was a great idea, because we put Athena there, we turned her heel, and we just let her absolutely obliterate people. She became the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, and honestly, she hasn't had a bad match. Even those Proving Grounds matches are so damn good. Not only should she be the champion forever, but she should be back on Dynamite real soon. I really hope that WWE has been watching this too, because if she ever does go back, this is what you should do with an Ember Moon. I mean, honestly, she is absolute fire. Now, please do leave a comment below and let us know about any other AEW wrestlers who have gone through the evolution or the revolution, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click this lovely list on the screen, wherever it may be. You can watch another video. My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you very much for watching me as always. Please take care of yourself. Please continue to enjoy wrestling. And always look both ways before crossing the street. Nobody wants to get hurt. Goodbye.